eHome America was born out of the subprime lending days. Many of us have forgotten what those days were because it's been a while since subprime lenders have been in their heyday. But they were raping and pillaging people left and right. And we decided, you know what, if we can educate some of these people so that they have a tool and they can be armed against some of the games that were being played, then we need to do that. Well, the day that it hit me, I was called to the front to work with a client that was very upset that we weren't going to release his second mortgage. When I found out it was because he wanted to refinance, I sat down and looked at his documents. He had a 1% 30-year fixed loan from Habitat for Humanity. He was refinancing into an adjustable rate loan that could adjust up to 14%. And he didn't even realize that's what they were doing. They had promised him $500 cash at the closing, and that's what he was focused on. So when I saw those things going on, it was like, we have to do something to educate people. Because once I explained to him what was happening, he was livid that somebody was trying to take advantage of him. We just needed to get the word out to more of those people, especially our rural folks. At least our urban folks had the option of coming into a classroom. Many of our rural folks didn't even have that option. So we thought, you know what, if we could take this to the web, we could reach every American in this country with education, and that's what we wanted to do. We made eHome America for Kentucky. That was this area that we served, and that was the area that we saw the need in. However, as soon as eHome America went live, 2 weeks after, we got calls all across the country, can we use your product? And today we have over 400 nonprofits across the country that use eHome America, and we're in every state of the union, including Guam and Puerto Rico. So clearly there was a need, and we were able to fill that need.
Just in 2014, we had organizations on average bring in about $10,000 of revenue. We've had certain organizations bring in over $70,000 in revenue. Collectively, since we've started the program, we've been able to give out $6 million in revenue in support of the delivery of homeownership education and counseling services. So eHome America is an online homebuyer education program for first-time home buyers, which provides them the opportunity to have access to homeownership education and counseling online. They can access it through smartphones, through tablets, as well as sit at their computer, have access to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It oftentimes is the requirement that they'll need to go through in order to receive access to down payment closing cost assistance programs. And so now they have the convenience of being able to have access to this program 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
eHome America allows us to touch people that we couldn't touch before. Allows those people to get education, because you know we have a lot of rural areas. It's hard for clients to get there on a Saturday and spend 8 hours in a classroom. They have lives, they have kids. Things pop up. The attendance was not what it needed to be. The people that needed the education were not getting the education because of life. eHome America allows them to sit in their home, something pops up, okay, I can stop it, and I can come back and start where I started before. I don't have to take 8 hours, a big chunk, when I have life to do.
I really appreciated how well laid out it was. It was a step-by-step. It took you, as if you didn't know anything. We enjoyed working together, had to print out to make our budgets. And so that was really good, something that forced us together to figure out where we're spending money, how we're spending our money. We were really good. We're used to living on a shoestring budget, but it gave us some corners to cut to help us move along the path.
Well, once you complete the eHome America, the counselor will take your information that you input and break it down and show you what you can afford. We look at your gross income and we look at your net income. We say, okay, this is what your loan officer or the lender is going to tell you can afford. Here's what your net income says you can afford.
I think the thing I like about eHome America, other than getting education out to people that were being taken advantage of, is that we've created a system that provides funding to almost 400 nonprofits across this country. Early on, we read the tea leaves, and we saw that funding for homebuyer education was going to begin to decline. The federal government can't pay for everything, and we found that the people were willing to pay for it if they could access it easily. So now we have almost $2 million a year going out to these nonprofits to do good work in their communities, and that I'm proud of.
The cost for the delivery of homeownership education and counseling could be anywhere from $500 to $1,500 when you determine how much someone might need in order to be mortgage ready. The cost oftentimes to offset that isn't really covered by the consumer, and resources that had been out there previously to pay for that have now begun to dry up. And eHome now has provided a revenue sharing model which allows organizations to offset the cost of the delivery of their homeownership education and counseling programs. And so we have a pricing model of $99. Of that, we'll keep $25 and return $74 of it to offset the cost of the delivery of homeownership education and counseling services. Last year alone, our model, we were able to provide over $1.5 million in support of the delivery of homeownership education and counseling through our revenue sharing model. And this year, we expect that to be over $3 million.
The economic meltdown affected everyone. Whether you lost your home or not, it affected everyone. If through homebuyer education, we can help ensure that we don't have another one of those, everyone benefits, not just first-time homebuyers, not just people that have gone into foreclosure. That's the message that I hope people come to realize.
We know that this information, and we have empirical data that shows individuals who get access to homeownership education and counseling are less likely to fall into default. Homeownership education and counseling is not only good for consumers, it's good for the communities that receive them, as well as the other players such as lenders and others who are involved as a part of the home buying process as well. We believe that eHome America creates a win-win-win for everyone.
Over the past 5 years, the one thing that has become evident to me is that sometimes government doesn't deserve the bad rap that it gets. When you look at the people that came around eHome America, USDA was one of our early adopters, and they moved homebuyer education across the country quickly. When you look at NeighborWorks, who funded us to start eHome America, and all of the support that they've given us. When you look at HUD, who has studied eHome America and has provided us great insights, and then our leaders, such as Congressman Rogers and his support of homebuyer education, it gives you a lot of hope for the future, and we hope that we don't go back to a great recession because of housing crisis again. If I had to come up with one word that I associate with eHome America, I think it's the word possible. Through eHome America, it's possible that people can buy a home that turns into a great investment that moves them up the ladder, that provides stability for their families, that provides stability for their community. It's possible to create a lending environment that's not full of regulation, but is safe. It's possible for people to make loans and not have as many defaults and delinquencies. Possible. That's what I would use with eHome America.
Home, right? And home encompasses so much just in that word, because we know that in that word, home has a warmness to it. Home has love to it. I didn't say buy a house, home.
If I could describe eHome America in one word, it would be necessary. Because I have seen what can happen if you don't understand getting a mortgage and what you're getting into. I have seen that on the back end. I have worked with people who are trying to hold on to their last hope and keep their homes. I've also had clients who have taken homebuyer education up front and they don't have that problem. So it's necessary. It's necessary to be educated so that when you're going in there and you're meeting with your loan officer, you're at your closing, you feel like you're right there on their level. You're not intimidated.
So now Beth has her own room, Danny has his own room, and we have our own room. So like, I really enjoyed a lot. And I am just so thankful for this wonderful blessing that you gave us. You know, it's one of the best things that happened